Morning everybody, my name is Jimmy, I'm the co-founder of Shanda, and Shanda is essentially a platform that provides easy podcast editing for storytellers. But first I'd like to share a little bit about me and my story. So I come from Zimbabwe, which is a wonderful place, and that's me with my cousins at my grandparents' house, and I had a really awesome upbringing, and Zimbabwe was a beautiful place to grow up. But it was also a bit politically and economically turbulent, and as a result, I lived in many different countries. This is the 5th country that I've lived in. And the more I moved away from home, the more I missed home. And when I was away from home, I'd often look online for pieces of content or things to stay connected to where I came from. But when I looked online, often I would find were stories about our, turbulent economy and politics, and which I felt didn't fully represent the totality of my community and the good things that were also happening where I came from. So I started a podcast called Zimbabwean Voices, and the focus of the podcast and its premise was to essentially shed light on people that were doing positive things in my community. So for episode 3, for example, I interviewed my good friend Tine, who had started a non-profit that was focused on women empowerment, and specifically educating young girls and sending them to school. And that was, I thought, really impactful and memorable work that should be supported. So she was sending girls to school like Grace here, who maybe during the pandemic fell on hard times and couldn't afford to go to school. So we banded together with our community that we had built on this podcast of about 200 monthly listeners, and we raised $500. And that $500 essentially was able to send 10 girls to school for a year. And it made me realize that, a podcast can be a thing where you just talk on a mic, but it can also, when done well, be a vehicle through which you can make a meaningful impact on your community through the power of stories. So I wish you all the best for all the projects that you're going to do and the stories that you're going to tell. But always remember that the stories you tell can really help make a meaningful impact on the world and can help change the world and make a meaningful contribution. So thank you for listening to my story, and I can't wait to hear all the stories you will make and the impact it will have on the world. Take care.